What's up, it's CinemaShogun here, and I don't know how many people saw this over the holidays, but over the past few days, rumors have been swirling that Joe Biden is building a bunker at one of his homes, a underground bunker. Now listen, I haven't seen any solid evidence that this is really happening. I don't know if it's true. It's probably just one of those theories that arises on the internet. You know how that goes. But what we do know is that there are a bunch of rich, powerful people who are now investing in underground bunkers. And maybe even underground bunkers isn't the right word. More like underground complexes, almost like small underground towns. I don't know, but over the past few years, I found it really odd that the world's most powerful people, suddenly everyone, all the world's richest people, became so obsessed with rocket ships and outer space. And I was thinking, okay, well, I guess, you get rich. You get to a certain point of rich and buying normal things doesn't entertain you anymore. Hell, you got all of this disposable money, you're worth hundreds of billions. Hell, what's left? What's left for me to do? I've slept with the world's hottest women. I own the world's biggest houses. I have the world's biggest yacht. My life is a vacation. What can you do next? Well, okay, you can build rocket ships and try to shoot yourself into outer space, right? But then you think about it from a different angle. Because we've had billionaires on this planet for a long time. We've had rich and powerful people. Why, over the last decade or so, have we seen this obsession? Do they know something that we don't know? Because if you look at it from a certain angle, it starts to look like, oh, y'all are kind of not investing in space exploration. You're investing in a way to get the hell off of Earth, as if you know something bad is going to happen on planet Earth. Right? Now, when I looked at things from that angle, I always wondered, how much, because you see these billionaires, and they're all building their different spaceships. You know what I mean? They're all building their different spaceships. Which spaceship is going to be better? And it's easy to look at it like, oh, these are just billionaires playing with their billionaire toys, right? But then when you see the trajectory that society is on, when you see that we're inching closer and closer every day to societal collapse, when you see that we're getting closer to nuclear war, when you see things like them coming out and be like, hey, aliens are real, we got UFOs. When you see all of this stuff, you start to wonder, how much of this is y'all playing around with your billionaire toys, and how much of this is y'all are seriously trying to figure out a way to get off of this planet in order to survive, right? And then now, when you see this new obsession coming in, first, the obsession was with rocket ships. How can we escape from Earth? But now this new obsession is, how can we dig beneath the Earth's surface? How can we dig and build these just crazy structures underground that will protect us from this or protect us from that? And I don't know how many of you all are into ancient civilizations and societies. But there's so much evidence that throughout the history of the world, that at certain portions of time in certain places, people burrowed underground to survive. I'm talking about underground cities, underground towns, underground communities, many of which we still don't know exist because they're underground. But many of these places have been found. I would, if you're interested in this type of stuff, look up Graham Hancock, because, he's done a lot of research on stuff like this. And like I said, there's so much evidence out there of certain communities of people resorting to living underground to survive during like crazy solar flares and, Armageddon type events. But anyways, the reason I'm here today to talk to you about this is because apparently in South Dakota, they've started this massive bunker community. And when I hear, in South Dakota, Dakota is one of those places, it seems like it doesn't exist. Like, not only does South Dakota exist, but there's a freaking North Dakota. Was one Dakota not enough? I don't think I know anyone from Dakota, South or North. But apparently, and if you're from South or North Dakota, let me know down in the comments below. But apparently they're building this massive underground bunker-like community, preparing for something big. And listen, I used to look at these doomsday preppers like they were crazy 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. Now, within the past, since 2019, I've started looking at these doomsday preppers like, maybe you know something. Maybe you weren't as crazy as people thought. Maybe you were not as crazy as people thought. But with that being said, I want to show you this news clip because it's crazy what these people have built. But before I show the news clip, we got to get those likes up. We're going into the new year. We're trying to get to 100K. YouTube is doing whatever they can to stop me. Like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to roll this clip, and then I'll be right back with more.
Brian, nice to meet you. How you doing?
Mark.
Hey, Mark, I'm Brian. Nice to meet you.
We met up with Tom Dundas and his neighbor Mark at a gas station in the middle of rural South Dakota, and we followed them on a long drive through the country to Vivos X Point, a community that feels like it's at the end of the earth, and that's by design. We go through several security gates of the old Army base, and then you spot all the mounds in the ground. Bombs used to be stored in these bunkers during World War II. Now people live here.
I was looking at the brochure. It says nuclear, pandemic, terrorism, asteroid, supervolcano, tsunami, solar flare. I mean, there's a lot of things out there
that you could be worried about. I think the biggest thing is you go to big towns and the amount of crime and everything that goes on, you're really not safe anymore. The amount of population that's out there, I think, is a big deterrent for a lot of people.
They don't really like the name preppers out here, or doomsday, but they're getting ready in case something really, really bad happens. The community is built to be totally self-sufficient. There's 533 of these bunkers out here, and I'm told about 200 have sold so far. Sales have been picking up. They're selling about 6 or 7 every single month. The cost is $55,000. That's just for the bunker. Then you have to build out the inside. And it's a massive area out here, about 7,000 acres.
We have a lot of ex-military. We have an awful lot of ex-law enforcement. We've got people that are teachers, that are telecommuters. There's people that, you have to have Starlink out here. That's the only internet you have, but it works very, very well. So people live out here and they telecommute and do their jobs right out of their bunkers. So some people are interested in moving up here. Other people are interested in having a place to bug out to if that's what they want.
So this is one of these bunkers that's been built out. It's a little loud outside because they've got the generator going, but these bomb-blasted doors are on the front, which are really heavy and kind of difficult to open. And once you've got that open, you come inside. There's another very, very secure door. The electrical room is right here. There's some storage on the other side. You'd never know, but the inside is actually quite nice. Almost kind of feels like a fancy college apartment or something like that. There's no light that comes in from the outside, really, so that part might feel a little claustrophobic, but it's actually quite open and airy.
These are a few of the rooms.
There's several bedrooms, bathrooms, a media room, extra fuel, and a gun safe.
This actually is set up with a blast valve, so if there's a blast outside, it would equalize. That's part of that system that's up there. That's the blast valves on top.
California businessman Robert Vicino bought the old Army base in 2016, and he's been selling the bunkers ever since. He says people will have to take matters into their own hands during a doomsday event.
The government will never tell you anything bad that it doesn't claim to have a solution for. If I told you we're going to get hit by an asteroid tomorrow and it's going to take out half the world, you'd flip out. Your entire audience would go out in the street screaming right now.
Vecino has bunkers around the country he says can comfortably house 5,000 people. He encourages members of his community to stockpile a year's worth of food and fuel and prioritize security.
They're going to stand their ground. Nobody's going to be waltzing in and saying, I want what you got. It's not going to happen.
Do you think it could ever get to the point where you would want to move out there permanently just because of everything going on in the cities?
Maybe. It depends how bad things got.
Philippe Briggs is a military veteran and retired police officer. He owns a bunker here and is concerned about crime getting out of control in big cities.
And people just realize in the big cities now that it's just not a safe place to be anyway. You know, you don't have enough cops, realistically, in these big cities. They're overpopulated.
Most of the residents at Vivos didn't want to be on TV, but told me off camera it's crime and overpopulation they're most worried about. Since COVID and the wars in Ukraine and Israel, the bunkers are in even higher demand.
Right now, all of F section is sold. All of this E section is sold. We're in the process of going through and selling this.
And it's interesting, Leland, they don't just let anyone buy a bunker. You have to be vetted. They want you to have a certain skill that you can add to the community, and they want people who they say are like-minded.
Yeah, I say they need doctors. They are going to need dentists. They're going to need engineers, all sorts of things out there.
Yeah.
Brian, great reporting as always. Thank you.
So I'm curious, how does everyone feel about this? $55,000? I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money, but when you look at the prices of houses these days, and then you look at the prices of these doomsday bunkers, it's like, do I go buy a house for $550,000? Or do I go buy a doomsday bunker that I can literally survive a nuclear war in for $55,000? So I think that we're going to see some people who aren't necessarily preppers just moving out here because, hey, it's cheaper. A lot of people work remotely. For all you guys know, I could be in a freaking bunker in South Dakota right now. Okay? I can sit in my bunker in South Dakota and pump out videos every single day. In fact, that doesn't sound too bad. Get away from a lot of the hustle and bustle. Does Amazon deliver out there? Listen, if I can get my Amazon and eBay deliveries, your boy might be moving to South Dakota soon. That's all I'm saying. But seriously, it's a very interesting thing. I really would like to see how would these communities really work out if something bad did happen. Of course, we don't want anything bad to happen, but I just wonder, let's say nuclear war did break out. Let's say the end of the world was here. Let's say society collapsed. How well would these little communities really work out? Because what scares me is, for one, you're surrounding yourself with a bunch of people who seem to be like really desperate to survive. Are you surrounding yourself with the best people? I mean, you think, oh, I'm surrounded by people who are prepared, but you can only be so prepared. And when it comes down to it, how long before like a leader in this community emerges? Like, there's a thin line between a community of people who are owning these bunkers just in case something happens. There's a thin line between that and a cult. That's all I'm saying. You go out there, you grab a bunker, you think everything's chill, little do you know, now you are in the middle of a cult. You know what I mean? Because you got to really worry about this stuff. You really do. Every time there's this promise of a new community, every time there's this promise of like, we're going to set up our own little town without anyone else's laws, it always turns into a cult. I'm not saying this is a cult, but I'm saying, hey, it has the beginnings, it has the makings of becoming one. All we need is someone like, maybe throw an Ezra Miller out there. Throw someone out there that thinks they're Jesus. And before you know it, you may have a really big problem on your hands. But all in all, though, all serious and all jokes aside, this looks interesting. And I'm thinking that we're going to start seeing more stuff like this pop up. But the question is, how safe are you really in these bunkers? Do you think that you would be safer out there in these bunkers in South Dakota? Or do you think you would be safer at home where you're at? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there, if you're feeling generous and you want to send a late Christmas present, you can do so via Cash App. I'll have my Cash App in the pinned comment of this video. You can also donate via Super Thanks or for free. You can help the channel by sharing the video, liking the video, subscribing, all of that good stuff. But with that being said, I'll talk to you all soon in the next one.